Bethesda
What the Oh, that's so dumb, dude. Oh, God. Gamers, not me, are such suckers. I mean, I would never. I'm saying it. Okay, instead of that, let's look at Bethesda's many scandals then.
Just the name alone evokes feelings of epic quests, grand worlds, and Wayne Gretzky hockey. Ever since Skyrim made me fail all of my exams in my last year of high school, which was not my fault, by the way, I wanted to get even with old Todd. These are the many scandals of Bethesda.
One of the worst things that I can ever do is ask chat what they think I should watch, because then like the entire chat turns into fuck you for not watching this, or thank God you're not watching this. And then whatever I pick next, they immediately go skip this right now, skip this, or I will fucking end everything. I will end it. I will turn the TV off. I will use a sledgehammer to destroy my PC. It's really annoying. Just appreciate it. Just like it. Just enjoy
Oblivion would jostle onto the scene with an aged 13 plus T for teen rating, although it wouldn't take long for that to change. Desperate to get away from the radioactive sewage runoff world that was Morrowind, Bethesda invested millions of dollars into discovering colors other than brown and brown grey. And the game was a smash hit as a result. Although the people still seem to be suffering from the effects of radioactive sewage. 4 days after the game's release, the modding community did what the modding community does, and released a mod that removed the bras from certain female races. While this is so predictable that it's practically its own speedrunning category at this point, what made this interesting is that the nude textures were already on the disc. In the process of trying to create a nude skin for Oblivion, I found Bethesda had done all the work for me. They just covered it up with underwear afterwards. Oh, and in case you're worried about this guy being a perv, he didn't do this because of his porn addiction. He did this for America. I do this because I hate government / society / whatever, forcing companies to protect our innocent population from seeing these
That's such a funny cope take. It's like, no man, you wanted to crank one out. Like, shut the fuck up.
Evil, dirty things 50% of them possess personally anyway. Not because I'm trying to turn it into a porn game. For whatever reason, the base models of certain female races were textured complete with luscious pepperoni nips and were simply covered up with a bra model after the fact. Since there's no way to remove your character's bra in-game, and therefore no way to access your character's pink bits, surely this wouldn't affect the game's rating, right? Only a year prior, the infamous hot coffee controversy went and freaking occurred. And so
hot coffee is so funny because one, I downloaded it, of course. And two, it's one of those things where like if they show it right now, it's so bad that it wouldn't even demonetize the video. Like, the hilarious part about it is that it is not only just like, it's like dry humping. It's like Mormons experimenting, okay?
the puritanical public and the ESRB now had a laser focus on video-style games. If you don't know about the GTA San Andreas hot coffee controversy, I'd highly recommend watching my friend Doplex's video for the full story. With this still fresh in the mind of gamers everywhere, some of them expressed their concerns in the comments of Oblivion's nude mod.
Is this guy sitting on a Nakey Jakey style like medicine ball?
Don't recreate hot coffee. I give you all one. I appreciate your work, but be afraid of the oppressive game companies. Nice work finding this. Though, given the controversy surrounding things like the hot coffee mod and the amount of near-pornographic user mods in the Sims series, I'm surprised Bethesda would just leave this in. Sure enough.
What's hilarious about all of this is that with Grand Theft Auto, shouts out to Hillary Clinton for freaking out about the hot coffee mod, by the way. With Grand Theft Auto, like having sex with a prostitute in your car was like unironically more sexual than the hot coffee mod. Like just simply pulling up next to a prostitute with your vehicle, having her get in the vehicle, driving off somewhere private, and then the sounds in the car bumping was literally like that was more descriptive and more pornographic than the actual hot coffee mod that, you know, you could enjoy, I guess. One could enjoy if they were into such things and they tried it out, because that's how fucking desperate they were for any kind of consumption of pornographic material as a young boy growing up in Turkey that did not have ease of access to pornographic material and was worried that he would brick the family computer by downloading the same fucking porn over and over again on LimeWire, Frostfire, or Ares. That's not me, of course. It sounds specific, but that's not me. I would never have done that. It's just I heard other people had issues with that kind of thing.
This drew the attention of the Eye of Sauron ratings board. They clarified that no game's rating would change as a result of unofficial third-party modifications, which I'm sure Bethesda was thankful for when they saw that child murder mod for Skyrim. However, since the nude content for Oblivion was technically on the disc and only used third-party mods to access it, they would still be penalized. Given that the effort required for a 14-year-old to search, locate, download, and install a nude mod is infinitely more than just Googling, real free naked girl boobs, I still think it's a ridiculous rule. I guess you have to draw the line somewhere. It turns out that the game's nudity was just the tip of the Dickberg. While reinvestigating the game for loose titties, the ESRB discovered that the gore in the final version of the game was much more graphic than the screenshots and descriptions that Bethesda had supplied them for review. What Bethesda had originally disclosed to us, as an example, in that section of the game, there is a hanging corpse. What they disclosed to us was a hanging corpse in the dark, pretty far away and without much detail. And yet when you bring a torch up to the hanging corpse in the actual game, you can see that it's very mutilated with lots of blood and bone.
The ESRB is so, to be fair, the ESRB is ridiculous, but also giving this a teen is also crazy. Like, this is not like T for teen, you know what I mean? It's only as ridiculous as how ridiculous your parents are, however, and mine surely were, and they would not let me get any mature games. Oh my fucking God. Shouts out to, again, piracy, okay? Jesus Christ.
That was a very different depiction, far more intense, far more extreme than what had been disclosed to us. Bethesda ultimately bent the knee. We will not contest the ESRB's decision to re-rate the game as mature, nor will we change the game's content to keep a teen rating. They noted that there are no topless characters anywhere in the game, and that nobody at Bethesda even knows what a breast looks like. They would also be patching the game in order to remove all of the unused nude textures so that they couldn't make their way into the hands of those nefarious libertarian modders. Despite their modders getting them in hot water, Bethesda would later look for a way to help them, but mostly themselves, as we saw when they introduced. Bethesda games are known for three things: their bugs, and their mod support. Even if Bethesda releases the biggest piece of shit known to man, you can bet on modders filling all the cracks and removing all the bras within days of it dropping. The mod community is lively, beloved, and most importantly, free. Still, many mod creators spend hundreds if not thousands of hours improving these games by letting you create hot elf women with penises. Bethesda and Valve figured that it was only fair that these guys had the option for compensation.
For people saying free labor, the reality is that is infinitely better. Obviously it'd be best if they didn't fucking leave it broken or release it broken, but it's infinitely better to allow modders to just run free on your IP than to shelter it, limited, have insane fucking protections over it, because modders make this shit have a way longer shelf life. You know what I mean? Not to derail, but have you seen the potential Ebola outbreak at Burning Man? TrueAnon is covering it on Twitter. I'm losing my fucking mind. He's memeing, man. He's lying. He's not there. What the fuck, chatters? Oh my God. Same with Cyberpunk. If it wasn't for mod saving the game, Cyberpunk would have died without a revival.
And of course, Bethesda and Valve would get to skim a little bit off the top. And by a little, I mean 75%. In April of 2015, Valve announced that mod creators now had the option to charge for their mods on the Steam Workshop. The Steam Workshop has always been a great place for discovering community-made mods, maps, and items for a variety of games. Starting now with the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The workshop is also a great place for community content creators to earn money by selling their greatest works. This new feature allows mod authors to choose whether to list their items for a fixed price, for pay what you want, or to make their item available for free. The initial response from players was not good. The mod piracy subreddit was created immediately following the announcement and became the fastest growing non-default subreddit of that day. Surprisingly, taking something that was always free and charging for it out of the blue doesn't exactly inspire consumers to biff handfuls of green dollars at you. But it turns out this would only be the start of their problems.
Todd Howard was furious at modding. He saw many people were still playing Oblivion Skyrim and was furious he couldn't monetize it. This is why he tried to charge people to use other people's mods with a mod store update. Yeah, the issue is studios using modders and alpha release customers to outsource a QA. I mean, Bethesda is not doing fucking QA anyway, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, even before the modding, they just don't care. It's just very Bethesda. They've always been this way. I don't know what to tell you.
With the promise of a paycheck looming overhead, some devs fell victim to the insidious tactics of modern gaming, and it wasn't long before the Steam workshop was flooded with paid early access mods. Some devs even took cues from mobile gaming, which is like taking financial advice from a toothless crack addict who's fallen asleep in a bush. These devs uploaded their mods for free, only for there to be pop-ups in-game which remind you about the full paid version. This mod in particular has a 4% chance anytime you cast a spell for a pop-up to appear. I can't even think of anything funny to say about that. It's like a 4chan green text about the greediness of game devs. Even if this is the reality we're stuck with, the revenue split seems to contradict the messaging about how mod developers deserve to be compensated for their time. Valve would receive 30%, Bethesda 45%, with the mod creator receiving the remaining 25%. After a few days of heavy backlash, Bethesda threw their 2 cents in and then took 45% back. They even made mention of the Oblivion scandal from before. Modding is one of the reasons Oblivion was re-rated from T to M, costing us millions of dollars. While others in the industry went away from it, we pushed more towards it. In our early discussions regarding Workshop with Valve, they presented data showing the effect paid user content had had on their games,
That's
their
hilarious.
players, and their modders. All of it hugely positive. They showed quite clearly that allowing content creators to make money increased the quality and choice that players had. They asked if we would consider doing the same. It's an interesting debate.
Yeah, they made the nipples and then were frustrated that a modder uncovered them. Like, there are so many villains down the line on the story. Like, the government being number one, like freaking the fuck out about nipples on a video game. Like, who gives a shit? I don't know. I just like, they lied about the gore too. Yeah. But also, I mean, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to try and get away with it.
On one hand, players have grown accustomed to decades of free mods, which can drastically increase the shelf life of any given game. On top of that, adding a monetary incentive
More racism
to
in
anything
Windhelm?
will
What?
inevitably attract scammers, grifters, and anyone looking to make a quick buck to a hobby that previously ran on pure passion. On the other hand, passion doesn't pay rent, so it only makes sense that these mod developers would want to be compensated for the massive amount of time and effort that they put into these projects. Adding a monetary incentive could also attract more talented people who can now justify spending more time in order to create high quality mods. Gary Newman himself would weigh in on the situation. In case you don't know, Gary created Gary's Mod, arguably the most famous mod with arguably the most boring name. A lot of the craziness seems to come from the thought that no one will ever release their mods for free. That makes no sense. Some stuff won't be worth charging for. If a mod
ESRB isn't the government, it's just an industry group. Yeah, it's a way to avoid government regulation, but it functionally it works in the same way, right? Am I wrong? Isn't it literally yet another way for the federal government to sidestep actually doing regulation? So they set up like an industry shop, and then You know, they're just like, yeah, whatever.
It
You
takes 10
self-regulate.
seconds to make and someone wants to charge $10 for it, then they won't sell any copies because it's not worth it. This is how the market balances itself. Some mod developers express their dissatisfaction.
It's like, for example, you know what it's like? It's like in Japan, iPhone cameras, including every other fucking phone camera, being having a sound when you take a photo. It's technically not government regulation, but it's the industry self-regulating and putting that ahead of government regulation. In Japan and Korea, as far as I understand it, there is no real government regulation that forces cell phone companies to actually release the cell phone sound. I thought originally that it was a law. Turns out it's not a law. It's just companies doing it themselves because they have they knew that there was too much demand from the public, so they wanted to get ahead of like additional government intervention, additional government regulation, so they did it themselves.
With the outcry and the implication that gamers were...
But yeah, the ESRB came out of the 90s era family values initiatives by House Republicans, and libs like Clinton and Tipper Gore jumped on the bandwagon. It was 100% born out of the evangelical wave sweeping politics.
Heavily against supporting the people who had given them so much content for free. I started publishing mods 2 years ago. Since my first mod was released on the Skyrim workshop, my mods have received over 200,000 individual downloads and 2 donations. That means 0.001% of users donated. My main issue is that most mod users do not appreciate what it takes to produce a mod. I have spent over 2,000 hours working on my mods. Regardless of your position, the response to this development has been embarrassing and shameful. I truly believe that, all reasons aside, the primary reason people don't like this is because they don't want to spend money. A mere 4 days after the paid mod feature was announced, it was taken down. We've done this because it's clear we didn't understand exactly what we were doing. We understand our own games communities pretty well, but stepping into an established, years-old modding community in Skyrim was probably not the right place to start iterating. 2 years later, Bethesda would announce the Creation Club, an exclusive gang of hand-picked mod developers whose content could be sold on an in-game marketplace for real money. Unlike paid mods, the Creation Club was more akin to Bethesda commissioning DLC from prominent mod creators. We won't allow any existing mods to be retrofitted into Creation Club. It must all be original content. Most of the Creation Club content is created internally, some with external partners who have worked on our games, and some by external creators. We've looked at many ways to do paid mods, and the problems outweigh the benefits. The Creation Club would allow you to buy new content for your games, like new weapons, new characters, and armor for your horse.
Oh man.
You know, like...
You know what's really
horse
funny?
armor.
Think about horse armor and controversies surrounding it versus like the way the video game marketplace is now.
If only we knew the damage you would bring. From universally mocked to begrudgingly accepted, Oblivion's horse armor was a sample of things to come. In March of 2006, only a few weeks after
We lost the horse armor war hard. Yeah, wasn't it like I think it was Charlie, right? Who was like, I'll never buy a DLC or I'll never spend money in game. And now like it's impossible not to do that. Like every single person does it. I mean, I've always been a whale. I don't give a fuck.
after Oblivion's launch, its first piece of DLC crashed into the Xbox 360 marketplace. Labeled as the Horse Armor Pack, its description read, Tamriel is a dangerous place. Protect your horse from danger with this beautiful handcrafted armor. There are no refunds for this item. For just $2.50 of Xbox Marketplace points, you could own 2 beautiful sets of armor for your horse, 1 elven and 1 steel. Fear not, for these sets are not merely cosmetic, and in fact double your horse's health. The DLC also includes a short quest which introduces you to Snack, the character who bequeaths your poor financial decision onto your character. Don't forget, there are no refunds.
The beginning of the end, boys. And with that one fell swoop, gaming was changed permanently. The entire industry changed forever.
Funds for this item. At the time, gamers had high standards for add-on content. Blizzard's expansion packs were legendary and often overshadowed the base game. Bethesda too had put out some
Like, downloadable content was like, what if we made expansions, which were a fun little way to like extend the shelf life of the original work while you were working on the next project, which would take like, 8 years pretty much, at least like 5 to 8 years. So they were like, here, in the halfway point, we just pop an expansion, which was literally a game in and of itself. And then the DLC was like, let's not do that. Let's just basically add one little thing for a much cheaper price point. Okay? Much cheaper price point. And then on top of that, let's not ever release another game ever again. And then Grand Theft Auto was like, hold my fucking beer, dog. We're doing online content in the free-to-play gaming universe, even though it's not free-to-play. And we're just going to make microtransactions and an entire marketplace in and of itself online. There is never going to be ever another reason to make another game ever again. This is just great.
Some great expansions, like Morrowind's Blood Moon.
Be honest, you buy the horse armor? Man, shut up. Let's not talk about me. This is not about me. Don't pay attention to what I've done, okay? Listen not to what I've done in my past, or present, or future, but listen to my words and heed my warning.
Which received an 8.9 from IGN reporter Steve Butts. So you can imagine the whiplash of going from these massive expansions full of new worlds and characters and quests and items to horse.
But also I was pirating. I was a major pirate. I was making Monkey D. Luffy look like Buggy, okay, back then.
The DLC's close proximity to Oblivion's release also had players feeling like this was base game content which was surgically removed and then sold back to you for the price of a really bad car. Like a really, really bad car. Equine protection is now seen as one of the first instances of microtransactions.
Admitting to crimes on stream, yeah, I mean, I have been a defender of piracy for a very long time and have defended it many times over, not just this time. I refuse to believe that the guy who struggled to run a basic trace route was able to safely pirate online. First of all, I run the basic trace route all the time, okay? Now, at least. And secondly, it was actually super easy to do piracy because I never actually had to download it. I think you forget. I've talked about this before. In Turkey, there were brick and mortar retail stores that only sold pirated movies and pirated video games. So it was as easy as popping a fucking CD in your goddamn PC, okay? And the crack was in the CD in and of itself. You would just unpack, you would literally download it and then put the crack file or whatever it was. It might have been like a key distributor or whatever. I think it was usually crack though. Ankara Tunalı Kuğulu Paşa alt katında. Yeah. So you didn't pirate but got scammed into paying it by other pirates? Yeah. No, I pirated my own shit too, which was basically the same. I realized later down that it was like literally the same, but it was infinitely more accessible to just get a CD for 2 liras, right? Rather than try to fucking download it with my goddamn dial-up. You understand? In fucking Turkey, using my fucking dial-up to like download a video game took a tremendous amount of time, and there was no fucking guarantee that it would actually work. Then there's also the viruses. So yes, I would easily just use a CD for all of the labor that they had put in to, downloading it, burning it into a CD, and they even sold it with like packaging. That's the funniest part. Yeah, and also exactly as the Shatter is saying, Türkiye'de satılmayan oyunların korsanları vardı. İstesem bile legal olarak alamazdım. Plenty of games never were sold legally in Turkey. The ones that were sold legally in Turkey would come much, much later into the Turkish marketplace. They were insanely expensive due to all the taxes. And on top of that, I'm not trying to play a fucking video game that's like 3 years old at that point that I purchased for like 100 lira when I could just bootleg it and get it from a bootlegger for 2 lira. Or a lira itself. It's just like, it was super, super, super cheap. What are you running a trace route for? Don't worry about it. No, it's figure out where my my ISP issues are coming from. Is it on the ISP side or is it Twitch server side? But that's different.
transactions. Downloadable in-game content is a main focus of Microsoft's strategy heading into the next-gen console war. These microtransactions, as they're called, let gamers expand their experience, sometimes for a nominal fee. I've always wondered who buys this shit in video games, but I think people like Good Gamer 3000 kind of answered that question for me. This is pretty crazy to charge for something like this, but I just bought it anyways. I really wanted that horse armor. I don't know why, lol. Fan reaction was not positive. Wow, what a friggin' ripoff. $2.50 for this crap. It costs more than the standard Xbox Marketplace themes, and that's basically what it is. A theme for your horse. I hope Bethesda considers lowering the prices on future content. This should cost no more than 40 points or 50 cents. Agreed. We need to break this model now and not buy any of this content.
Yeah, that's when everybody found out that we're a bunch of bitches, dude. No fucking backbone whatsoever. Okay? Too late. It was already too late by that point. Dude, you want to know why it was already too late by that point? It's 2006. Do you know how many fucking FIFAs had come out? I don't know. What was the first ever FIFA? Was it like 98, 97? That's when they already knew, okay? They already knew. EA was already streamlining this process that realized gamers are filth. Gamers are disgusting. Gamers will literally buy the exact same fucking game year over year as long as there's a new skin on it. Okay? They had already figured that out. So this was basically more respectable developers like Bethesda jumping into the pool and creating their own unique version. They changed FIFA mechanics consistently on sports-hating gamers whine about FIFA other than... They changed FIFA mechanics consistently. Only sports-hating gamers whine about FIFA other than Ultimate Team microtransactions. Wait, what are you talking about? You forget that I was a fucking FIFA player. What do you mean? The years that I'm talking about, I played FIFA. I played Winning 11, Pro Evolution Soccer. I played all of those fucking games every single year it came out because I was getting it for a lira, so it didn't fucking matter. The idea that they changed the mechanics is so dumb. Not only did they fucking rarely ever change the mechanics, they also abso-fucking-lutely, maybe they do now because I haven't played a FIFA in many, many years, but not only did they not change the fucking mechanics, they would literally, dude, the marketing was laughable. You guys remember the paper crowds? Because it was like impossible for old machines that run like real crowds. So you would look from the side view and you could see the crowd was like just the wacky inflatable arm man. It was like 2D crowds, right? In the arena. Every year they'd be like, hey guys, we added 1 extra pixel to the fucking crowd. Look how good it looks. Every fucking year, dude. The only mechanic change back then was when I think it was during FIFA World Cup where they actually put like a cool flame behind the ball if your main player, if your star player was the one kicking it. That was the big mechanic change. Get the fuck out of here. What are they gonna do? Add rules to soccer? FIFA has been repeatedly called out for copy pasting. They've literally left the icon at the previous year's games more than once. Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny to me that somebody in the chat had the audacity to be like, dude, it's only people who don't play sports games that actually complain about that. Like, what? The funny thing with FIFA is that there are bugs and glitches that carry over like 7 games. They straight up fucking... Oh, here.
Lineker.
Hello, my name's Gary Lineker, and we're here to bring you this cup match between Real Madrid and Real Betis.
As well as there just being more commentary, it started to get a bit contextual, including chats about league form and placement, which is brilliant, like this.
Look at the crowd. Look at the crowd. This is what I grew up with. The new game basically is only the same. Metas change. For example, one type of shot is better in new FIFA. Crossing and heading is better for that year, etc. My favorite is how Madden has somehow lost features over the past 10 years. I've never played Madden, so I can't speak on that. But I absolutely did play FIFA, and I can fucking speak on that, okay? They're like, shadows have improved in the crowd this year. It's a big change. Big changes are coming to FIFA. We added shadows. It's the same game. Big changes are coming to FIFA. The ball is no longer rectangular. It's now slightly less rectangular. It's funny, man. It's good. I love that chatter who said that thing about FIFA. It's awesome.
If people buy it, they'll keep making it. Tragically, people did not, in fact, stop buying this content. In hindsight, Todd believes that it wasn't the content that was the issue, but the price.
Horse armor is not bad. I think horse armor is fine. The price point at the time was the issue.
Interestingly, they initially wanted to sell it for less, but were talked out of it by Microsoft.
For what it is, actually, I think it's fine. You armor your horse, you can buy it, there's new dialogue. And we felt, well, it's probably worth this. I won't say who at Microsoft said, well, that's less than we sell a theme for. You should charge this, you can always lower it. We're like, okay.
Bethesda would go on to release several more pieces of small paid DLC.
And we all bought it. Like, this is why consumer marketing is so fucking silly and like rarely ever works unless it's associated with like some kind of fucking psychotic right-wing zealotry and it's like tied to some form of bigotry. But even then, if you make a good product, nobody gives a shit, right? Who's we? Motherfucker, I am not going to go through your following list to map out exactly what streamers you watch, to figure out what games you play, to mathematically figure out exactly how much money you've spent on microtransactions and DLCs at this point in your life. We is everyone, okay? At this point, we live in 2023, okay? If you have never bought a DLC, you probably are unfamiliar that you didn't even realize you bought a DLC. You bought games that are DLCs, okay? You bought a DLC that you paid for thinking it was a second game. It was a new game. It was not. It was just a fucking patch, okay? You bought skins. You bought Game of the Year editions. You bought Battle Pass. Like, every single person at this point has, like, no matter what, it's impossible to avoid. You have definitely engaged in this consumption because that's what this consumption, that's what this industry is doing. Don't say Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, aka full price demo. How dare you say that? It's worth every fucking penny. That's insane that you would even dare bring up such a ridiculous thing, especially on the anniversary. Yesterday was the anniversary. I think it was like 8-year anniversary. How could you say such a ridiculous thing? Hideo Kojima deserves every penny, okay? You're a fucking asshole for saying that. On the anniversary, dude? Really? On the anniversary of Ground Zeroes? Really? This is my Ground Zero. How about that?
For Oblivion. Having learned their lesson, this DLC included much more content than horse armor for much less, and were generally well received as a result. Oblivion's 2 expansion packs, which both featured extensive amounts of additional content, were both only $7.50 more than horse armor. Horse armor has since become a meme in the gaming community, with Bethesda themselves joining in to kick themselves in the ghoulies after a parody ad in PC Gamer magazine announced that Skyrim's first DLC would be crab armor. Bethesda's Creation Club would make this joke a reality. The Elven and Steel horse armor sets are also available in Skyrim's Creation Club, although Bethesda now gives them away for free. 17 years of being worn down later, the public's view on microtransactions is still negative. Of course, everyone on Reddit and 4chan and Twitter and YouTube are free to scream until we're red in the face to not buy any of this bullshit. That's not going to stop some offline 34-year-old dad on his lunch break who just wants to drop $20 on Diablo Immortal because he's been psychologically conditioned into thinking that it's a good deal. $2.50.
Also, what's additionally funny is that we're watching a game essay about Bethesda, and like for the past 2 days, at least some of you have been sticking around to watch me play the latest Bethesda reveal, okay, the latest Bethesda game, Starfield, and I paid $30 more than the regular price so that I could play it early, like a week early, with a shit ton of fucking bugs. And not only that, but I got a fucking free code 2 days after I got it. Bethesda finally sent my management a free early access code. And I was like, well, thanks, man. I've been playing for 48 fucking hours already.
50 won't even get you an American trucker hat in Bethesda's own Fallout 76, let alone some shiny shielding for your four-legged friend.
Okay, I didn't want to say anything about that chatter who said they never engaged with in-game purchase crap, but they posted 2 years ago on the fucking Genshin Impact subreddit. See, this is what I mean, dude. You fucking, oh my God. You fucking bring some shit up in the chat. You're going to get got, okay? MHUD will, MHUD will fucking clap you. My man said, I've never bought anything. I still don't even know what the gameplay of Genshin Impact is. Neither do I, and I never want to try it. Unless they pay me a shit ton of money. I heard they pay a lot of money. It's anime Zelda, I think. Yeah, who knows?
Speaking of Fallout 76, Fallout 76 is pretty much one big scandal in itself. But unfortunately, some vaguely internet-shaped, history-like person has already covered most of those stories. But hey, I'm all for sloppy seconds, so let's talk about Fallout first. Fallout 76, for those of you who don't know, is Bethesda's clumsy foray into the always online live service model of gaming. Since this game is always online, Bethesda couldn't rely on modders to fix all their bugs and remove all their bras, and the game was a hot mess on launch. 76 dropped as a full price game with the aforementioned hat-themed microtransaction shop. This lets you purchase clothes, items for your camp, and cosmetics for your character, like this balding haircut that seems like the sort of thing you'd pay not to have on your character. A year into the game's belabored existence, Bethesda
What the fuck? Oh, that's so dumb, dude. Oh, God. Gamers, not me, are such suckers. I mean, I would never.
The only people still playing this half-baked bugfest must be huge suckers. And so they announced Fallout First. Fallout First is an optional subscription service for Fallout 76. So just to recap, you have to purchase the game in order to play it. There's
The Fall of 76 is, we watched
microtransactions on top of that. And now there's a subscription service on top of that. So what is $12.99 USD a month or $100 for a year's subscription get you? Well, you'll get a mixture of long requested player features, which are now locked behind a paywall, and solutions to inconveniences that, you guessed it, they designed. These include the ability to host your own private worlds without a bunch of other players gunking up the place, allowing you to imagine that you're playing a much better Fallout game. A monthly allowance of 1,650 atoms. The game's
Oh, it's basically paying for itself, dude. I mean,
currency for its in-game shop, allowing you to purchase
yeah. Paying $12 a month to play single player with your friends.
just as many
Co-op.
balding hairstyles as your heart desires. A scrap box which lets you hold all of your crafting components with unlimited space, and most importantly, a survival tent. The tent is the real draw here, giving you quick, easy, unlimited access to your stash, the aforementioned scrap box, as well as a cooking station, a sleeping bag, an instrument, and a goon cave. One Redditor who has
Goon Cave! Not Goon Cave!
since deleted their account in shame, posted about their experience after playing 12 hours with Fallout First. When I moved my junk from stash to scrapbox, I freed nearly 400 libs. Getting an extra 400 pounds of stash is huge. The tent is the real balance breaker though, not the scrap box. It effectively means that I'll never be encumbered again. With the tent, I gather everything, and I mean everything. When I hit the encumbrance
People freaked out when Jason Schreier revealed 76 was an always online game.
limit, I smack down a tent, which costs nothing.
I think the real wildness is that there are still Todd Howard dick riders. Like that is the legitimate that is the actual craziness. Like that there were people that were mad at me for saying like I don't trust Todd Howard. Like I don't know what will happen in Starfield, which I like and I enjoy. But like it is perfectly valid for me to be skeptical before I see it. And for the record, he did pull a fucking Elon Musk on certain shit. Like, for example, I guess he sold it kind of like Star Citizen, like the endless space exploration. Like, that didn't exist. Every time you say you like Starfield, it sounds like you're at gunpoint. No, why would I? I didn't get fucking paid for it. I didn't get paid to do a hashtag ad for Starfield. I've been very honest about it. Does not sound genuine. I think it doesn't sound genuine because you guys are so ready to fucking shit on it. Yeah, I didn't get a fucking ad. I literally actually paid $100 so I could play it a couple days early.
And has no cooldown. Scrap all the junk and store all the weapons and armor. So yeah, this is pay to win. There are just too many advantages granted to mark it off as not being pay to win. That said, this isn't an insurmountable advantage, but it is the first step on a slippery slope. One exceptionally perturbed individual snagged up falloutfirst.com.
Yeah, you know what? Watch this while I go pee. Okay.
I'm Todd Howard, Toddhoward, game director for Fallout 3.
This is an enormous dynamic world.
How much of a tech demo for Skyrim was Fallout?
The game has over 200 dungeons, all handcrafted.
And one of the great things about having a fully dynamic game engine is all of this just works.
These NPCs are not scripted. You can walk all the way to the top of that mountain.
Go where you want, do whatever you want. This is the golden age of gaming. Make the player proud when he's playing your game. Make yourself proud that you made it. Make your player proud that he bought it. And it works, it actually works perfectly.
Our artists have painstakingly modeled over
It just works.
1,000 objects.
We actually have recorded around 1,000 of the most popular names for him to say.
We have over 40,000 lines of recorded dialogue.
All new rendering technology. You just put what you want in your
He was saying the settlement system just works, and it does. Okay, dude.
hand, and that's really the character you're playing. We made a real one.
What?
Mods transferred, played, and shared for free on Xbox One.
And I want to be clear, actually, that feature is not coming out at launch.
Todd.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Honestly, Todd Howard and Elon Musk are quite similar when you think about it. Don't ever disrespect my sweet Todd like that. No, he's just like, he is like the Elon Musk of gaming, but at least like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like a Tesla fanboy, but for Bethesda. Because I was just thinking like, you know, think about the build quality of a Tesla and how shittier it is in comparison to other like market products, like readily accessible products in the marketplace. And like, I mean, I like it. I like the product at the end of the day, because at least there is like a game, even if he's just lying about a lot of the components of the game itself.
Like I said, it's great to be back here working with the amazing folks at Microsoft.
Oh no, you can't disguise.
Karate and kickboxing at
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Thanks again, everybody. We really hope you love the game. Thanks again.
Like maybe chat being so ready to shit on you has made you so
was a
ready to
kid.
shit on
I
anything
was
and just
writing
make
games
cynical,
when I was-
negative assumptions. I mean,
Just, 12, whatever. And
that's not true, because I'm so unapologetic about I'm a hedonist at heart. So I'm so fucking unapologetic about things that I enjoy. I don't give a fuck if it sucks. I will always go back to finishing Cyberpunk on stream and not and feeling very good about the game in general, even on release, despite the fact that, again, not a hashtag ad whatsoever. Like, if I like something, I like it. I don't give a shit.
the other kids in the block would say, I'm going to play quarterback for the Cowboys. And I'd be like, I'm going to make video games and everyone's going to play them. You dork. Go back to the chess club.
He did not fucking say that. This is LeBron levels of cap.
Who's laughing now? Yes, I was in the chess club.
I don't even believe he was in the chess club. This motherfucker's lying about that too.
Nila.
Random spawn. Yeah. She hugged me and said, this game better be really good.
If I could turn the page and time that I'd rearrange just a day or two. Close my
Sometimes it doesn't just work.
He said, no, he only lies about the future. He does not lie about his past. He has never been able to lie about his past. Of course, he was a fucking debate club president. He was the president. He was in the Model UN debate team, tennis club, and he was class president. This guy, you know what he's been lying about? He's been lying about being a fucking nerd. He was a Chad. He was like the typical, prototypical fucking, like, kid that is, like, over-accomplishing. That's not, like, people don't understand. People don't understand. Nerds are fucking freaks and losers. They don't do this much shit. This is an over-accomplisher who's, like, trying to get into a good college, okay? This is a guy who becomes president. Do you understand? You motherfuckers are so caught up in that shit that you think, like, oh, he did, like, chess. That's pretty nerdy. No, man. There's a sport in there. What fucking, what geek, what nerd is in the tennis club? Yeah, the accomplished smart kid whose classmates love him. He also has Riz. Like, I mean, he's literally sold you. Someone in the chat said Skyrim 6 fucking times. Think about the level of Riz you need to be able to have to just, like, repackage the exact same game. Not a different game, just the exact same game 6 fucking times. And you still eat up that garbage. Okay? He makes you buy it with his charisma, and you guys are like, no, he's the nerd king. I love it. Look at him. He's capable. He's capable of doing things that are unimaginable.
Used it in order to parody the official Bethesda announcement. The comedic genius behind this seems to think that swearing is the pinnacle of comedy, and so the entire thing is based around the gag that what if it was called Fallout Fuck You First? You have to imagine just how mad someone is for them to purchase a domain, rewrite an entire news article, and then code up an entire website so that it matches the CSS of the Bethesda website. Still, the sentiment rang true across the community as a whole. It wasn't a meme or joke. WTF. I thought someone was...
Our boy Wilnev was a tennis competitor and he's a nerd. That's so funny that you guys think Wilnev is a nerd. I think what a lot of people on Twitch forget is that, like, Wilnev and myself had a life before we got on this hellish platform, okay? Like, yeah, Wilnev is a theater kid, but it's pretty funny to consider myself nor Wilnev like a real fucking nerd, especially in our earlier years.
Making fun of how stupidly far they'll go to make money. Picking a ludicrous exaggeration. Holy hell, it's real.
Yeah, Ludwig, however, is actually, like, Ludwig is a way better representation of a
Bethesda
nerd.
isn't even concerned about perception anymore. They're going full EA Activision now, and it's given me huge concerns about what the next Outer Scrolls will be like. This premium service also included some premium bugs, as you'd expect from Bethesda. Placing your camp could sometimes just cause your entire game to crash. Your scrap box would sometimes gobble up all of the scrap that you put in it, like your mum at the...
Dude, that's a feature. Like, it just works.
Cock and penis eating festival competition, which left some players without any of their hard-earned junk. Private servers were only as private as your friends list, which meant that guy that you added 14 years ago after a fun game of Team Fortress 2, who just sort of sits on your friends list and keeps changing his profile, so you can't really remember if he's one of your real friends or not, so you can't quite bring yourself to delete him, but you don't really know who he is. That guy can just join you. Bethesda's dedication to saving the planet appears to extend to their private servers, as some players found worlds that appeared to be recycled. These featured dead NPCs killed by another player, as well as missing loot that was no doubt jingling around the pockets of another Fallout First subscriber. 9 months into Fallout First's existence, which is long enough for you to have a child if you're not the sort of person who spends $12.99 on a Fallout First subscription, Bethesda had yet to deliver on some of the promised features. These included increased camp budget for private worlds, increased camp build area for private worlds, persistent workshops for private worlds, and discounts on Atom Shop items. Today,
I love that the ones that got fucked the hardest were the ones that were, like, willing to pay the most too. Because, like, what are they going to do? Complain? Like, get the fuck out of
Well,
here.
first is just kind of there. For long-time players, the convenience is unquestionably worth it, even though, you know, that was completely by design. The feared slippery slope of pay-to-win gimmicks has only gotten slightly worse with the addition of an unlimited ammo storage case. The enraged fans' FalloutFirst.com website is still up to this day, 4 years after it was announced.
This was a great video by ManyKudos. Another Rosie. I locked it. I fucking locked it. Fallout 76 was made by new Bethesda Austin team, FK Battlecry. It was literally not the main team, Bethesda Maryland, that made it. So this whole conversation around 76 is kind of irrelevant in my opinion. Even Todd's involvement is debated still. Bro, this is like when DuPont Chemical dumps a bunch of fucking toxic poison into your water supply and you're like, the CEO actually didn't know that that was going on. Like, the president and executives all the way down had no idea that, like, DuPont was dumping toxic pollutants into the water. That is, dude, this level of dick riding is unimaginable from a 6-month subscriber of a 6-month subscriber of a fucking leftist community. Like, what is happening here? I'm the #1 Todd stan. Bro is riding like an Elon Musk fan, pretty much. Like, I don't think Todd is as bad as Elon Musk. I do think that there's a lot of Elon Musk-like qualities that Todd has, which, by the way, is understandable because, as I dive into Starfield now, all successful capitalists at the end of the day end up devolving into the same person, a con man. It's just about how legal of a con you can engage in. How do you engage in this legal con? By being a successful con man, of course. At least Todd doesn't openly side with Nazis. Yeah, that's true. He's not as bad as Elon Musk. He also doesn't serve the top of the hour ad break to you, which I do because I'm worse than Todd. I'm the CEO of Twitch.